what does ZTNA actually mean? Well, we can no longer assume that just because a device is already connected to a network, that it's safe to allow it to have access to all the resources on the network. Zero Trust Network Access solutions aim to continually verify who and what is using network resources. All endpoints are identified and made secure, while IT staff can get detailed visibility into and control over what devices are actually doing on the network. So what is it that's driving us towards the deployment of Zero Trust Network Access solutions? Well, the security parameter has moved from the edge of the network to the endpoint. With our staff now working from anywhere, with the huge proliferation of Internet of Things devices on networks, our operational environments now require users and devices to be continuously verified as they access corporate resources. To protect these resources, it's necessary to implement a Zero Trust Access approach and keep access privileges to a minimum possible level. Implementation of a Zero Trust Access approach includes the use of strong authentication capabilities, ubiquitous and powerful network access control tools, and fine-grained application access policies. So when we're talking about endpoints, what sort of devices are we thinking that Zero Trust Network Access should cover? Well, we normally identify endpoints as PCs, Macs, tablets and phones, but in addition to that, we need to look at securing our cloud resources, virtual machines, databases, containers, Hadoop nodes. We also need to secure identities. These can be contained in Active Directory or LDAP environments or within Radius. Our network infrastructure needs to be secured as well. Our email servers need to be covered, any virtual containers that we've got in our network need to be secured, and any sensors that we have deployed in our network for security purposes. So, what types of actions are required to deploy a ZTNA solution? Well, from an endpoint perspective, our solution requires visibility, control, and advanced software protection for our endpoints. As well as securing those endpoints, our solution needs to identify and verify users by means of centralized authentication. Available methods for achieving this include single sign-on or SSO, certificate management, guest management, and multi-factor authentication. As far as remote access solutions are concerned, ZTNA capabilities would include the ability to grant access on a per-session basis to individual applications, but only after devices and users are authenticated and verified. In fact, a true ZTNA solution could use the same policies for both remote and local access, making the application of security policies homogeneous regardless of the user or the device location. The Zero Trust model moves security away from the implied trust model that's based on the network location of a user or device, and instead trust is evaluated on a per transaction basis. The Zero Trust model requires the appropriate access level to be explicitly derived from a combination of identity and context-based controls at a very granular level. Zero Trust starts with the default deny posture for everyone and everything. When a user or device requests access to a resource, their identity must be verified before access is granted. Verification is based not only on the identity of the user or device, but can include other attributes such as date, time, geolocation, and device security posture. Once access is granted, it is continuously evaluated at a very granular level. Access is only given to the resource at a level that is needed to perform a specific function for a limited time. If any attributes of the user or device change, then trust may be revoked and access to the resource removed. Zero Trust Access focuses on knowing and controlling who and what is accessing the network or resource. Role-based access control is a critical component of Zero Trust Network Access. Only when the system knows who a user is, can the appropriate level of access to a resource be granted. Well, as you'd expect, all of the usual suspects in the security vendor space have a ZTNA offering. These include, but the list isn't limited to, Fortinet, CrowdStrike, Palo Alto and Cisco. Bear in mind, a full ZTNA solution requires elements, many of which a typical enterprise may not have yet deployed. These include an endpoint client such as FortiClient, proxy-based internet access, which can be cloud-based or server-based on-prem, and continuous authentication with security policy and enforcement. Well, all of the prerequisites required by an enterprise, such as the endpoint client, proxy-based internet access, continuous authentication along with security policy enforcement, will need to be deployed across the organisation. The organisation as a whole will need to work closely with the ZTNA provider and be invested in the deployment, because there's a balance to be made between security and usability, which is critical to the success of the project. A ZTNA solution will affect every employee throughout an organisation, and it will need to work with all of them for it to be considered a success. So, having discussed ZTNA solutions, who will they actually help? Well, very simply, any organisation wanting to maximise their security controls and minimise their threat landscape. To find out more, visit our website, and on the ZTNA page, request contact from one of our subject matter experts. We look forward to hearing from you.